Hi everyone, welcome to THT, and today I have a very exciting videos for you guys where I'm going to be opening 6 boosters of the latest expansion for Twilight of the Republic, and we're going to try to emulate a sealed with the same rule as you're going to have during your pre-release, where you get access to Ahsoka Tano and General Grievous as a leader. The idea of this video is to basically give you my thought process on how I try to build a seal deck, and hopefully this will be helpful whenever you're going to be trying to compete in your pre-releases. So I would like to thank Asmodee UK and FFG for sending me this booster box in advance. I didn't release got a press kit, but I got a booster box and a starter set, and I'm really glad that I finally got something from them. So thank them so much for recognizing my work with my channel. It's been a pleasure to work with them, and so obviously I'm going to be only opening 6 boosters for this video because the goal is to kind of go through the thought process on how to build a sealed deck. So the idea of sealed deck is, as compared to draft, is that you get very little control over what you can actually build. It all comes down to what you open, but obviously there is, of course, different. Sometimes your pool can be deep enough that you can build different decks with your different decks with the cards that you've been given. So we're gonna start off by opening this first pack, which is gonna be the very first pack I will ever open for this new set. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set aside, of course, those unopened boosters, and I will, of course, set aside the leaders to kind of give us an idea of what kind of leaders we have access to. The base don't matter because you can play any bases you want for what you want to play. So once I've done this, I want to sort my cards by color combinations. So we're gonna put the true neutrals here, the blue, the red, the green, black, the red. We got an hyperspace B1, which is going to be red, black. And the idea, of course, of sorting those cards by color is like it's going to give you kind of a better idea on what kind of colors you got access to, and what is the amount of cards, and also the quality of the cards that you get for the different colors. Okay, got our first white. Here you go. And my very first rare, which is actually very cool because it's the rare that I've spoiled to you guys. So this was the spoiler that was given to me by FFG. So kind of cool that we are getting this card. Fortunately, not a very good card, so we're going to set this aside. Okay, that was our first booster. Nothing amazing in there, but that's fun. Ooh, we got Anakin Skywalker, which is one of the best leader in the set, I think, for limited play. More red, a lot of red so far. The quality is important, but the quantity is important as well. First mono green card. Got a couple of good yellow black cards here. White, we got the low altitude gunship, which should be in the green white down here. More blue. Our rare is going to be Caught in Crossfire, which I think this card is very strong and limited. It's basically a double removal, and we got a cool foil Jar Jar Binks, which I don't think is very good in limited either, but yeah, Caught in Crossfire is a solid card. It's mono red, so it can be played in any red deck, so it's a very flexible card. and it's basically potentially a double removal, which I think can be very powerful. So right now I'm strongly considering red as one of my primary color because I got Anakin Skywalker as a leader. I got a lot of red cards and I got some powerful red cards in there too. So it is something that I'm looking at. Not Gunray for the leader. And get a red black here. Joy the car. Should be. We haven't had a single blue white, blue black so far. Resupply, of course, still a very, very strong card in sealed. Trade Federation. That makes me want us to go to green, even though we don't have a lot of green so far. I've heard Republic Attack Pod is a very strong card in limited. I don't have much space, so I'm going to try to make a little bit of space here, down here. ETA2 Interceptor, Wolfpack Escort, Clone Commander, which I think is definitely a lot more solid in draft than it is in constructed. Bloodsport, which I think is going to be an important card to have in the set. And we got a Sabine Wren, which I think is going to be probably pretty strong in sealed, I would say. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a little bit too difficult to trigger. And we got another true neutral. Okay, this pack was not amazing for what we're trying to do. I mean, it's good for if you're trying to go into yellow black, I guess, yellow white, I guess. Yeah, I think Sabine Wren is going to be very strong in limited. This ability to on-attack ability are a lot stronger in limited because obviously there are far fewer ways to defeat enemy in generals. Another white-red card, not nearly as good as Anakin, I think, in draft. So we're going to set this aside. Another base. Droid Commando, a very solid separatist card. Temporary Loyalist, another Royal Guard Attache. Encouraging Leadership. Grim Resolve. Outspoken Representative. Reckless Torrent. This is another mono red card. We once again have a lot of mono red cards here. Patrolling 8080. Oh, this one should be there, which should give us space to put this card down here. Great. So, little glimpse here. Clone Dive Trooper. Kraken. Good card in hyperspace as well. Manufacturing Soldier. Lisa Crackdown, one of the few removal accessible in a set, so a noticeable pick. And Yuang, which is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best card in the set. So, really nice pull, even though it's probably not going to be worth so much money because it's only a rare. But it's a very strong card in limited, so we're very happy to see it. Which this pool makes me want to go into green, especially since we got a resupply earlier as well. Next pack. Another Padme. That's the second time we pull Padme. But at this point, I really would like to build around Anakin. Building around your leader, I think, is very powerful in limited because it's obviously a card that you get all the time. So if you have a very strong leader, it's a good idea to build around it. You really need to justify having some very, very powerful card to go away from one of the strongest leaders. Because as I said, leaders is kind of a card that you're drawing every game, that you get access to every game. So building around the leaders makes a lot more sense than trying to build around strong rares that you have. Because the strong rares, you might not have drawn them. Daring Raid is a solid rare, is a solid red card. Face Clone Trooper is also a decent 2-drop. And yellow. Oh, that's a good black red card. 7 for 7 can be that can come into play ready. Can be very powerful and limited. Private Manufacturing on top of things. A Saw Gerrera, which I think is a very strong card in limited, and makes me want to go into white red very heavily. and Disruptive Burst, very situational. That was a good pack for what we're trying to go for. And we got Queenland Vase, which I think is probably decent in draft, but probably not as good as Anakin. I think Anakin is really the best limited leaders in the set. Peerless Position. Droid Commando. Sorry, this is supposed to be mono green. I'm a bit confused now. Yeah, this is supposed to be mono green. This goes in green black. Okay. Badge Brother, which is a very decent playable red white. Everything that is red white we really like at this point. Knight of the Republic. I think the Knight of the Republic is actually a pretty good card in limited because it's has a lot of stats, and the units that have a lot of stats are very strong in limited, in this limited format, because there's not that many removal, and it does have and whenever it gets attacked, it creates clone troopers. It can be just very annoying. Okay. An easy mistake to make whenever you're playing limited is to sometimes be distracted by all the different good cards that you get, so it's important to stay focused on what you think is going to be the best. Hyperspaceful, Bold Resistance, and Barry Offee, a card that is both terrible in constructed and draft. And Bold Resistance, however, might be playable if we have a lot of units which share the same traits. Probably not a great card, but... And that's it. That's basically all the boosters. So let's get into it. So you see, the first thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna be discounting colors. See the red black here. There's not really much going on here. So only 2 cards, and those 2 cards are not particularly strong. I think Lethal Crackdown is decent, but that's basically it. Our red-white is decent, not amazing, but it's decent enough that I want to keep it. As I said, we have a very powerful leader. Our green-white is not particularly good, but our green is very strong. We got, I think B2 Legionnaires is a decent card, but more importantly, we got Young. Clone Commander Cody, I think, is pretty decent and limited. And obviously resupply. So this could be something worth noticing. Our red black is okay. And our green black is very strong. Okay, so green black is definitely something we're going to be wanting to consider. We got double droid commander, which I think is very strong and limited, as well as Confederate Courier, which I think is a decent setup for green white. The white heroism is nice. So here you basically want to look at all the different colors and their different things. I think the first thing that we want to establish is that for sure we're going to be playing red, because our red is pretty deep. So if you really want to look at our good red cards, we got Bloodsport, Daring Raids, Caught in Crossfire, which I think is going to be catching a lot of people by surprise. Okay. This is interesting. It's obviously my first time playing a sealed pool here, so I'm also learning. Yeah, the blue doesn't have much going on, so I think we can discard it. No removal. I think the Vanquish is really what you're looking for in those colors. Yeah, blue-white is decent. Double Knight of the Republic I think is good. But yeah, no, the rest is just not that attractive. So we can discard it. One of the big question here is, do we want to play Villainy or do we want to play Heroism? To be fair, there's nothing in the pool that really catch my eyes in terms of like real like bomb cards. So I'm simply going to be playing around my leaders, and we have the best leader in the set for limited. So I think it is unless you got some really crazy card in your pool that can make you go out of its way, I don't think there's any reason to not build around Anakin here in this draft pool. So we're gonna be, for that reason, we're gonna be discounting all the villainy cards. It's a little bit of a shame because we are indeed not. This was a pretty decent green black pool, but I think there's nothing in there that is really strong enough to really pop my eyes. So this is obviously gonna help us build the deck. So obviously I want to play bold resistant, maybe not, but for sure I want to play all three of those red-white cards. So we're going to be putting cards on curve. And then the big decision is going to come as whether we want to play red, white, green, or red, white, green, or red, white, yellow. So I'm going to be placing my cards on curve like this to kind of show you off, guys. To make sure that we have like a decent curve. And gonna look through my yellow cards. I think Sanctuary Shuttle is pretty decent. Coordinate is a lot easier to trigger in limited than it is in draft. I think On Top of Things can be a really big bomb whenever you run this on your leader, especially on a leader as strong as Anakin Skywalker. With Overwhelm, I think it's going to be very strong, so we're definitely going to be playing On Top of Things. Political Pressure, not great. Okay. Freelance Assassin could be playable. So probably going to play that. Favorable Delegate is very strong with Anakin because we can give him +2 attack. That means he can really pull above his weight, and he's also a 2-drop, so definitely going to be wanting that. Same goes for the Unentered Squadrons. They are 2-drops, and thanks to Anakin's ability, they can really pull above their weights. Normally, 1/4s in the game are not very good, but with Anakin, it's a different story. Phase 2 Clone Trooper is just a solid 2-drop. Phase 3 Clone Troopers is probably okay enough to be played. Then, so we're gonna start focusing on the red, and the white. So we're gonna discard the green, the yellow card, but we know that those 3 yellow cards are like kind of playable. So keep that in mind. So for the red cards, so we're gonna set those aside. I'm gonna obviously put Daring Raid, Bloodsport, obviously this Caught in Crossfire. I think this card is a decent 2-drop, as I said. Coordinate is just very easy to trigger in this set. 2/3 Overwhelm, not amazing. It's probably gonna be here for fillers. 3/4 Saboteurs is decent, and this card is also Republic. I don't think the draw cards, we're gonna need them, so let's set them aside. Reckless Torrent, I think is going to be too difficult to use in this deck because we have too many units who have 2 health or less. So I think to kill on our own units is just too big of a cost. So I'm not a big fan of that card. I don't like Grim Resolve. This is playable. My god, lots of Reckless Gunslingers and lots of duplicates. Okay. So this is going to be all red here. And what else are we looking at now? So we are obviously want to play as many Republic cards as we can. So the strategy of this deck is going to be coordinate. I feel like trying to take control of the board by taking very good trades with Anakin and try to overwhelm the opponent. So for mono yellow, we know that we have access to this. So this is what yellow gives us. We're gonna add on top of this, of course, the yellow card. I think Padme is quite playable in Anakin for the same reason I was saying earlier, that the low attack can really be compensated by Anakin's ability. I think Sabine is also pretty strong. Wolfpack Escort is definitely playable. Republic Attack Pod is also very strong. So, if we are going, so Droid Escort is probably playable as well. So if we're going yellow, this is kind of like the main card that it gives us. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. So this simplifies the process a lot, because then we can compare our yellow pool and we're going to be comparing it to our green pool, and then we can really make an informed decision of which one is going to be the best. So now let me get through my let me go through my my green pool. Okay. So green pool, obviously resupply, clone commanders. Yuang is a big one. B2 legionaries is very playable. Tape captives, I think it's going to be quite good, because it's going to be one of the only way for our deck to deal with extremely large units. And for that reason alone, I think it deserves to be there. It deserves to be played. I don't know how good strategy acumen is going to be, but I think it's going to be playable. Okay. And now we got our green-white. So unfortunately, our green-white is not that good, but I think Echo can be okay if we are playing enough coordinate cards. And Pelta supply frigate is also kind of decent. It gives you some space presence and generates some tokens, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So that gives us access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. While this is giving us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. Okay. Which one of the two am I going to play? This is a tough call. This is a tough call. I think I'm going to be playing the green one. I think it fits better in the curve. Gives us access to more true drops. No, actually it's the same. I'm going to go green, because it's more of my playstyle. And at least there are cards in there that I know for sure are very strong. So let's put all the green cards together and see what we're missing after that. This was really not an easy pool to build with. As you can see, a lot of cards. There's nothing really specific that really stands out. The only thing that really makes me want to go Anakin in this pool is the fact that because Anakin is the best leader in the set. But other than this, there's really not much that really stands out to me. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so as you can see, we don't have any 4 drops, which is not great. But doing the 4th drop, but we have a lot of 2 drops, which is nice. It's going to make the deck consistent. We have ways to go from 4 directly to 5, either using strategic acumen or by using resupply. So that's good. We have a variety of removal. We can use remove against small units with Bloodsport, and we can remove stuff with Stake Captive, so that's nice. And we also have the Cut in Crossfire removal for large units. So that's very nice. So we got a variety of removal. So that's good. And then we can take a look at if there's anything out of aspect that we could be that we would want to play. No, I don't think there's anything in this that is strong enough to be played. And then we're gonna start pulling out playables. So Dentil Royalist is not amazing. The Reckless Tauren can just be played as a 3/1 for 3. Not exactly amazing to say the least, but yeah, that is really not what we want to do. But yeah, lots of duplicate cards that are not particularly strong. Okay. There's a few cards in there. Okay, I think we could play private manufacturing. I think we have enough ways to provide tokens. So we have um, Batch Brothers. Peltas Supply Frigate. Yeah, that's gonna be very inconsistent. No, so never mind. No, we don't have enough to do this. We do play a lot of troopers, but I think if we're going to be playing a card like Sword Shield and Maneuver, we're most likely going to be playing Bold Resistance, which situationally can be a very strong card. So, gonna put this on, and most of our cards are Republic, if I'm not mistaken, which is gonna make either Republic or Troopers. Even the Headhunters are Republic, so Bold Resistance is gonna be pretty strong in this deck, I think. Okay, this is not great, but this could be played. This could be played. This could be played. Maybe the card draw cards could be played if we really don't have anything else. Okay. So yeah, it's not an easy deck to put so how many cards have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21. I mean, we need 9 additional cards. Good lord. Oh my god. They're really not making the job easy. So 9 more cards. So this is going to go in for sure. Those 2 additional are going to go in as well. Just to fill out the curve. Once again, the game has not blessed us with any 3-drop. Look at this. Not a single 3-drops. Not a single 3-drops. 4-drops, sorry. Look, this for Sabine Wren is pretty much the only 4-drop that we got in the entire pool. That is a very, very strange card pool here. Very difficult to play with, to build with. So I'm gonna add those 2 additional 2-drops. We're gonna be adding out this 5-drops, and we're still missing 6 cards, which is pretty crazy. So, maybe the Hotshot Blaster, even though it's not a card that we want really, but I think we're gonna have to play those Reckless Torrents. They're gonna make, yeah. Oh, that is a tough pool to build with. Yeah. So we added, yeah, I think we're gonna, maybe Heroes of the Both Sides is gonna be good. How many Separatists have we got? No, unfortunately, we don't play a single Separatist. So this card is basically just a +2/+2 Sentinel that is really mediocre. I would rather play the Hot Blaster. And maybe a couple of Strategic Analysis for the late game. Okay. So that is maybe Shield, Sword, and Shield and Maneuver could be very situationally very powerful. So we can add this in. And that's gonna be our deck, guys. So try to line this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21, 25, and then 4 more cards, so we need 1 more card. Jesus Christ. Good lord. Well, we're going to be adding another strategic analysis. Okay, guys. This was extremely mediocre. This was, yeah, it's not a good pool at all. I'm looking through this entire pool and I'm not seeing anything that is particularly strong in this. As I said, I think the Sabine Wren I think is strong, but I don't think it's as good as Young. I think Young is a better card overall, especially in limited. So I think that there's a couple of cool things going on in this deck. Obviously, we're going to be trying to play Enable Coordinate. We got some good top end with Sol Guerrera. We got the best leader in the set, and we got some pretty strong like cards. So you want to play around your rares. You want to play with what you have. I don't think my pool was particularly good, but obviously, whenever you're playing in sealed, you have to play with what you've been dealt with. And in this case, I feel like we got a couple of good cards, but I think overall we were missing like a lot of playables. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this deck is very good. I don't know, but this is what we've been playing with. And this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I haven't pulled anything valuable. I don't think I pulled a single legendary in those 6 boosters, but it was only 6 boosters, so obviously it doesn't necessarily mean I'm not gonna get anything else in my booster box. So once, if you have some time left over, another good idea whenever you're going on sealed is to see if there's the possibility to build another deck with what you've been given. Something that we saw earlier is that our black green card are pretty good, so maybe we can try to build a deck around this. We also got a couple of good yellow black cards, and see what we can do from that. So I want to try to build a black, yellow, and green deck, and see if we can do something with this. Okay, yes. So we can use process, reprocess. We need, of course, a couple of exploit payoff. Once again, not a lot of 4-drops in this set. The patrolling 80/80 are pretty decent. I would feel a lot more comfortable with this, with those cards if I was going to run, like a Doku. But I think this could be good. This time we have a lot of ways to provide tokens, so I think I'm comfortable playing private manufacturing. So you notice that I'm actually separating the real card that we have to play on curve, as opposed to cards that are a little bit more situational down here. So because that allows me to see with my curve, while this are more kind of a situational card, so they are not included into my curve. I think political pressure could be decent in this deck, since we're playing. Okay. Got a couple of good red-black cards, but I don't think they are as good as the green ones. And I don't think they are as good as the yellow ones. I think yellow ones gives you a lot of... And obviously because we're playing mono green, we can pull a couple of green cards from where we are. We can put this... obviously Huang is going to come back. Those cards are not particularly good, especially in this deck, but at least they are 2-drops. And we are desperately in need of 2-drops, as you can see. Resupply is going to go back there. Obviously, we're going to pull back the... So, no, Caught in Crossfire cannot be replayed. And Strategic Acumen can be played. We don't have a 2 drops, but we have a couple of things we can play on turn 1, but we need another 2 cheap units to go with that, so that's a bit difficult. Obviously in this case we have no other choice but to play General Grievous, which I don't think is nearly as good of a leader compared to our previous one. So yeah, this was basically our second attempt to build a deck. I think the real problem with this deck is that we don't really have any good 2 drops outside of Confederate Courier. So overall, I think this deck is substantially worse than the one we made before, because we have too many 5 drops, not enough 2 drops. As you can see with the curve here, 2 drops are super important, and even the 2 drops that we have are mediocre. The leader itself is also a lot worse than Anakin. And there's simply just not a lot of exploit payoff. The only exploit payoff we got a lot of ways to produce tokens, but we don't have any exploit payout. The Separatist tank is the only thing that we have that can really take advantage of the exploits. So I'm pretty confident. This basically I like doing the building like at least a second deck, because it gives me the confidence. It gives me the confidence that I built the best deck possible with my Anakin deck. So if I have this draft pool, I would probably go for Anakin green. There's an argument for going for the Anakin yellow instead of Anakin green, but I'm pretty sure Anakin green is slightly better because Young and Resupply are such a strong cards. Thank you so much for following that video, and I'll see you next time for another video. I apologize for the quality of the camera. It's not as good as I was hoping. And thank you so much for following that video, and I'll see you next time.